When you were small, you were afraid of the dark. Someone told you there was nothing there, so you believed them, and you grew out of it. But for almost every human who ever lived, that fear was not childish. It was the smartest instinct they had. The dark really was full of things that wanted to kill them. And the ones who weren't afraid mostly didn't survive to have children. You are descended from the scared, and the fear they left you never truly went away. On the face of it, fear of the dark makes no sense. Darkness is not a thing. It cannot bite you or chase you. It is simply the absence of light, a room with the information switched off. And yet the fear of it is everywhere. Every country, every century, every childhood, stubborn and identical. Evolution does not build a fear of nothing. So it was never the darkness our ancestors feared. It was what the darkness hid. For almost all of human history, the dark was not the danger. It was the danger's best cover. To understand the fear, remember what we are. Humans are daytime animals. Our eyes are built for sunlight and color, and in exchange they are almost useless in the dark. Drop a person into a moonless night and they are effectively blind, groping, helpless. But the animals that hunted our ancestors had no such problem. Leopards, lions, hyenas, the great predators of the African night see in near blackness the way we see at noon. So every evening as the sun went down, our ancestors changed. All day they were clever, watchful creatures with the upper hand. Then the light drained away, and they became the blind, soft, stumbling things in a world owned by something with teeth. So the ones who wandered cheerfully into the dark tended to vanish. And the ones who felt a cold spike of dread at sundown, who stayed near the fire and startled at every snapping twig, lived and had children who inherited the same jumpy wiring. Think of the smoke alarm in your kitchen. It shrieks at burnt toast and annoys you 100 times. But the one time there's a real fire, it saves your life. Evolution made that trade. 1,000 false alarms in the dark cost only a racing heart. Missing the one real leopard cost everything. So we were built to assume the worst. You are the descendant of the ones who always did. Eventually, we tamed the wild and pushed the big predators to the edges of the map. But the dark did not become safe. It just changed what it hid. Because the most dangerous animal to a human being is another human being, and the night was where they worked. Before streetlights, darkness was the perfect accomplice for the robber, the raider, and the killer. Cities knew it. For centuries, much of Europe lived under a curfew, from the French couvre-feu. Cover the fire, a nightly order to douse your light and bar your door. To be out after dark without a lantern and a reason was itself a crime. The honest were asleep. The night belonged to everyone else. And we should be honest about how dark that dark really was because we have never seen it. Step outside any modern town and a glow always hangs on the horizon. Before artificial light, night was total. A blackness so complete that people could not see their own hands. The historian Roger Ekirch, who spent years reconstructing the lost world of night, found records of people who walked into ponds and drowned, stepped off bridges, or broke their necks 100 yards from home. Every evening, families barred their shutters against it. And through the long black hours, they slept in 2 shifts, a first sleep and a second sleep. Waking in the dead middle of a night we would find unbearable. And into that blackness, every culture on Earth poured the same thing. Monsters. It's one of the strangest patterns in human history. Peoples who never met on every continent filled the night with demons and devils, with spirits and the restless dead. And with one horror in particular, a thing that comes while you sleep and sits on your chest, crushing the breath from you. The Anglo-Saxons called it the mare, the root of our word nightmare. Everywhere somehow humans agreed. When the light goes out, something wakes up. Why did the same nightmare appear in minds that never touched? The answer isn't out in the dark, it's inside your own head. Here is what actually happens when the lights go out. Your brain is a prediction machine that runs almost entirely on your eyes. Cut off the light and you starve it of information. But it doesn't switch off. It fills the gap with guesses, and thanks to 1,000,000 years of leopards, it guesses in one direction. Threat. A shape becomes a figure. A creak becomes a footstep. Better to see a face in the shadows 1,000 times when nothing's there than to miss the once when something is. Catch the brain half asleep and paralyzed, and it will build the whole monster for you. A dark figure in the room, a weight on your chest. The demons were real. We just made them ourselves. So we went to war with the dark, one of the oldest wars we've ever fought. The first victory was fire, a circle of light and warmth that held the night back. The reason a flame still feels like safety. Then lamps and candles. Though light was long a luxury, and the poor simply went to bed with the sun. And then, in just 2 centuries, we won. Gas lamps marched down city streets in the early 1800s. Then came Edison's bulb, the electric grid, and the astonishing act of flooding the whole night with light at the flick of a switch. In a few generations, we did what every ancestor would have called magic. We abolished the dark, and that victory did something strange to us. We banished the dark so completely that we forgot why we ever feared it. In a world where light is always one switch away, the old dread finally looks ridiculous, so we started calling it what it never was. Childish, irrational, a phobia to cure. But we didn't outgrow the fear. We just removed the danger and left the alarm wired to the wall. The terror of the dark was never a flaw in an otherwise sensible mind. It's a perfectly good survival system, built over 100,000 years, still running long after the thing it was built to survive got switched off. You can feel it running right now. You have a switch on your wall a pharaoh could not have dreamed of. And still, you climb the basement stairs a little faster on the way up. Your hand still gropes for the light before you'll step into a black room. Crossing a car park at night, you still feel the back of your own neck. And when the power cuts and the house drops into total black, something in you goes quiet and listens and becomes certain, against everything you know, that you are not alone. That isn't weakness. And it isn't a child's fear you failed to shed. It's 100,000 years of ancestors who were right, still standing guard inside you. For all but the last flicker of human history, darkness was the deadliest thing in the world, and every person in your endless line of ancestors survived it. Not by being brave, but by being afraid at exactly the right moments. You are here because they were scared. We've lit our world so brightly now that most of us will never again see a truly dark sky, or the thick river of stars our ancestors steered their lives by. We think we've left the dark behind. But it's still there, exactly as it always was, one power cut away. Turn off every light, and wait. And you'll feel the oldest thing your mind knows come quietly back. The certainty, older than language, that somewhere out in the black, something is waking up.